Hello. Happy Sunday. It's currently takes off glasses. Narrates as if the audience doesn't see what I'm doing. Interesting. Is that a reflection? Like, what is this in my eye? It must just be the reflection. Anywho. I'm here. It's currently June 9th, 2024, 3:32 p.m. I was hoping it would switch to the next digit, so it would be 333. But that's alright. No need to force things. It's funny though because my volume was just at 32 and I tried turning it up and that's how I noticed. I just meditated. I'm very, very heady today. Very heady today. I spent most of my day with other people, talking, very intellectually oriented. It is Gemini season currently, and we had a new moon a few days ago, and I've been feeling very intellectual. So it makes sense. I feel like I'm taking my glasses off because I can see okay up close. I'm nearsighted, but I feel like it impedes, like, it feels like the connection is impeded in some way. Like this physical barrier kind of gives me that sense for some reason. Anywho, that is why I took my glasses off. The reason I'm recording is because I was offered the opportunity to speak at this church for like a few Sundays and to get paid for it. And honestly, that's like my dream, is to like get paid for speaking. But I don't have that much experience public speaking. And it's something that I know I need to, I'm working to build my confidence in, because I know I'm really like very good at speaking, and I get told that's like just in conversation with people. I mean, I have very good communication, oral communication. And I know that there's a lot that wants to come through me, right? And I think it's just a little scary. I think that there is a lot of vulnerability kind of embedded in that experience of going up on a stage, or just presenting yourself and your thoughts and ideas in front of a whole mass of people. It feels very vulnerable to me, I think, because I notice for me my perfectionism comes out when I think about that, because I am afraid of being like picked apart, of saying something wrong, or not having it all perfect and squared away, and like not being given the space to be a human being and to make mistakes. So I notice how my fear comes up within that when I think about it. The fear that I do have related to putting myself in a position like that and doing something like that is born of my own perfectionism, and worrying about people projecting that same thing onto me. And so I just wanted to talk because, I actually I had some really good conversations with a new sort of mentor friend of mine earlier. We go to we're involved in the same organization, spiritual organization, known as the Centers for Spiritual Living. We had some really potent conversations, and he said to me, he was like, you need to like document like whatever you're putting out there, like write it down, record it, whatever. And I told him, I was like, I do, but I think I need to do it more. I notice how I get into this mode where I'm like in like almost like teaching mode, and I think I have really valuable ideas and thoughts, and I'm very articulate and know how to share things in a relatively clear way a lot of the time. Uh, and I know it's definitely a strong suit of mine, and I feel called to utilize it. I feel good when I'm in that. I feel seen also when I am kind of in my flow. I get in a flow of like kind of like channeling what wants to come through, and I share that a lot in interactions with others, just in conversations, one-on-one, small group kind of thing. And that feels way less vulnerable, right? Because there's not a bunch of... You're not putting yourself out there. Like, it really is like a vulnerable thing, I think, to put yourself out there. And I think there's ways to make it less vulnerable. So it's like when I think about it now, I think about how like two scenarios, right? One is I give a lot of thought to the topic and I come up with, I mean, I guess one extreme end of like the spectrum is to have things very structured and to like know what I'm gonna say, to practice it, to kind of have like a script, which is definitely not what I'm gonna do. I might have sort of something more in the middle of the spectrum where it's like, obviously I have a topic. I think at the very least I would have a topic no matter what I would do. But I think I like the improvisation, which is like the other end of it. So I think I'm pretty tired also. I know I'm scattered. And here's my coconut water. Cheers. But I think rewinding, it's like a spectrum of, I think, like structure to like improvisational work. And I think on one extreme like scenario is, right, I have like a script, right? I have the topic, I know what I'm going to say, I've practiced it, right? And I feel very comfortable of, oh, this is the thing that I want to do. But I think the structure, I think a degree of structure is important. But I definitely don't want to be rigid with it. And then I think the other end of the spectrum, right, is like I have the idea and I kind of am just like channeling and like trusting that what's going to come through is going to come through. And I think what's beneficial is to have like that in between, right? To have sort of like a, what is it called in the arts? Not an itinerary. It's like a guideline. It's like a guideline for like what's going to be done, and you just have like your main points, but then you like, and you follow like the main points, but it gives room to flow. Like it gives room to like, okay, anchor point, what wants to come through, anchor point wants to come through, anchor point kind of thing. And so the thought of going on a stage right now is like a little daunting because I haven't given it any thought, right? And so that feels really vulnerable. Like I'm just gonna make an ass of myself and not know what I'm doing. And I mean, granted, also this is like I have been in situations like I'm really good at like I think improv. Like to be honest, like when it comes to speaking and like talking about things, like I just did, not just, but last semester I had done this presentation and it was like a group presentation. It was for a class I did not care about. Like, it was an interesting class. It was just like bottom of priority list. Like I had some more demanding classes that were taking my bandwidth. And we had this end of the semester like final group project and presentation. And I remember like I did not give this stuff. Like I wrote my thing and was like, cool. 20 minutes before class, I'm like, okay, like, let's see what this is and, like, kind of just get the main idea and then we're just gonna go with it. And I felt like I was like, do again, like, I'm, like, pretty well spoken. And one of the girls after was like, you saved us. And I was like, I didn't think I did that great, but I appreciate that. And then my ex-girlfriend at the time, who had that class with me, was like, you know, like, she was like, you did a really, like, I would not have guessed that you did what you did, like, in terms of not, like, the fact that I didn't have, like, I didn't know what I was getting into really fully, like, the fact that it was improvised largely. She's like, I never would have guessed that, which was it was affirming. So, and I've just gotten feedback like that, and I know that speaking is a strong suit of mine, but yeah, I know there's definitely ways to set myself up for success, and whatever is gonna, like, I think the thing about it too is it's like whenever I'm rooted in spirit, which I mean technically I am all the time, we all are all the time, because all of it is God, literally everything, even when we feel so disconnected and like in the shit and in the suffering, that's a God too, right? But when I'm really like open, especially when I'm open chest, open hearted, and my throat's open, that's when I can really fucking let that shit come through. I'm still working on opening up this guy. Yeah. It's a work in progress. I mean, it's all a work in progress, right? And there's like, if there's layers to this shit, is what I'm learning. Like layers to this opening and this excavating, really. I guess rather excavating, rather than it being this excavation. I think I just like that word. It's like excavate. It's got like, phonetically, it's like nice. Anyway, rather than excavating sort of this true authentic version of me, it's more like shedding of the shit, and then emerges as a byproduct of that is what emerges as a byproduct of that is this more authentic being. Yeah, holy fuck, life is beautiful. Okay, those are just some thoughts. I'm just working through this right now. I wanted to I think I'm just gonna start posting videos. Just start posting. Fuck it, like in the most loving way. Like, fuck it. And when I say fuck it, what I mean is like F the perfectionism. I censor myself now. Okay. It's the perfectionism. This thing that I think holds so many of us back. And in the last 6 months of my life, especially, I have seen with like a level of clarity that I've never had before, just how much it gets in my way. And I think it's definitely a process to learn how to navigate that. And I always come back to compassion every time. Every time I ever feel lost or feel perturbed emotionally or even mentally, I think a big antidote for me in alleviating my own discomfort and suffering is cultivating the qualities of the heart, right? Like within what they do, like with Buddhist practices, how that is a big emphasis is cultivating the heart qualities of compassion and kindness and love, fundamentally. Sort of the overarching thing there is love, from my perspective. Yeah, and so when I'm rooted in that, like, you become limitless in a way. You become limitless in a way. And you start to realize that it's all God. I need to go get my body, so I'm gonna go work out. Namaste. Thanks for listening.